Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. And I do want to apologize for no video yesterday. For those of you who aren't in the Discord, everyone in the Fat Phil household is okay now, but on Friday into Saturday from midnight till 6 a.m. I was with my toddler in the ER. She's okay, it was nothing serious, but we just had to be there for 6 hours. So that was miserable. And then on Sunday around 2 o'clock, I actually had to take my wife to urgent care and then the ER, and she was there until yesterday. So everybody's okay, nothing serious, like we're all doing fine now, but it's just been a really torrid couple of days here. So we're back, we are recording, and we have a harsh opinions video, so let's dive right into our harsh opinions. You guys know the drill by now, and we gotta start with Wat Tambor, who is overrated. This list is going to be characters that are overrated or like one-use wonders, and Wat Tambor fits that bucket perfectly. I think Wat is 100% overrated now. When they nerfed him back in 2021, what they nerfed was the Blast Tech Shield Generator. Or not that, the Blast Tech Weapon mod. You gain 15% turn meter, and enemies defeated can't be revived. You used to be able to ignore defense with this. And that made him, like, insanely good to use against like Galactic Legend off meta counters. Now with that gone, he really I struggle to find uses for him outside of like a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren to counter Lord Vader or Sith Eternal Emperor's best friend. And now you have Admiral Trench in the game who's kind of stealing Wat Tambor, so I just think he's super overrated because everybody used to say, oh, you gotta rush to get Wat, and I sit there and I'm like, for what reason? If you don't have Sith Eternal, you don't really need Wat Tambor ever. Maybe for Kylo, but most people who would have a Kylo and just Supreme Leader Kylo Ren are not coming across Lord Vader's in Grand Arena. So I think he's so overrated that people are like, oh, you gotta rush to get him, and then you get him and you're like, I don't know how to use him. Like, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but that's exactly what this is for. So, Wat Tambor, 100% overrated. Just not enough uses. Alright, Fennec Shan is a one-use wonder. I use her against Lord Vader. Outside of that, I don't really use her. I think there's better bounty hunters that offer a little bit more than her, because she's just pure damage. That's what she is, right? She's pure damage output. And in that bounty hunter team, not that damage output is a bad thing, but most of the teams you're going up against, you're going to want some other mechanics like ability blocks, or, you think of the Lord Vader team, it's a Fennec lead, Beskar Armor Mando if there's Maul. If there's not Maul, right, you could keep him out. I like to keep him in, but if you're using Beskar Armor Mando, who's not a bounty hunter, then you're going to, Bosk, Mando, and Grief Karga. So if you take out Beskar Armor Mando, say you're going to do a full bounty hunter team, you throw in the Zam Omicron, do you really need that much more damage, or would you rather have Boba Fett's ability blocks, Dengar's thermal detonators? I think that when you get into that situation of you're not going up against Lord Vader where you need Fennec, there are other characters with more utility than she does. That's just, it's a harsh take, but I think it's pretty factual. I don't find enough uses for her outside of countering Lord Vader. Now, that said, early on, if you got Fennec as one of your first relics, you could solo a lot of teams in Grand Arena with her because that's what her kit's designed for. But at the level that I'm playing at, you're either countering Lord Vader with her or you're not really using her. All right, Dash Rendar. But he needs Vandor Chewbacca. He really does. In 3v3, you could 100% use him with Han and Chewie. I personally think that's a very good team. If you have Vandor Chewbacca and L3 and Dash Rendar, and your Dash as well is like pretty well modded, you can take away a team that like the same team that could beat that, Han, Chewie, and Dash Rendar can probably beat the L3 variant, right? So I'm not really using most times I'm not using a better team. I'm going to use the same exact team to beat either of them. Just use like Jedi Knight Rev and get around the taunt or whatever. But then that saves me Han and Chewie to use under someone else. And so by adding Vandor and L3 in there, you're getting a solid team of Dash Rendar, and then you're saving your Han Chewie. I really think Dash needs that Vandor to have that next level viability, because with Vandor Chewbacca then, right, you're going to cause your opponents to not be able to, like, they need to target Vandor first. It complicates things. He really does with that revive and the prepared. It's brutal. So whenever I get my Vandor, I will 100% be equipping Dash's Omicron, and we'll start running some teams to hopefully make him stupid hard to take out. So again, you could make the argument as well, I will say this, that you want Vandor and L3 because L3 is your pre-taunt. I can 100% get behind that. I just think Vandor is a little bit more necessary. Again, splitting hairs there, but I think they're both good, but Vandor definitely gets the nod over L3 if I had to, make a judgment call. All right, General Hux is next, and the thing with General Hux is he needs the full First Order to take advantage of his kit. So when you read his, I believe it's his unique ability, if the allied leader is First Order and all other First Order allies, oh yeah, here it is, right here, sorry, down low, right, down low. If all allies are First Order at the start of battle, enemies can't gain bonus turn meter while Hux has advantage. So if you're trying to use a counter with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and you're going to bring the armor, you're going to bring Wat Tambor, you can't use General Hux. And I think a lot of times we always say, oh, Hux is so good, but First Order Officer you can use outside of a full First Order team and get the bonus turn, get that bonus turn and everything that he passes. Where with Hux, he's completely reliant on that full First Order to get the advantage of the, the no turn meter gain, which is most of the reason you're ever going to use this character, right? I mean, that is that ability here is so good. So it's one of those where, am I being a bit harsh? Maybe. But really what I'm saying is you need that full First Order to take advantage of that. And I think that when you're looking at your GACs as a whole, sometimes that can hurt you. Because if you want to bring a Wat or armor or you need another tank or something that's not, as soon as you take a First Order character out of there, Hux's unique diminishes. All right, next we have Embo. And this one is, I love Embo, right? Do not get me wrong, I love Embo. But pre-Jabba, he's just a throwaway. Even with his Omicron, before Jabba, I think he's a throwaway. Because the team that I would use to beat Bosk bounty hunters really doesn't change with the Embo Omicron. I don't think inside of that team it's quite adding enough, right? That like the same team, I'm going to use the same team to beat them and it's really not going to be any different. But you put him with Jabba the Hutt and have that Omicron and he is the hero, right? Like Embo carries so hard. My guild, we love our Embo Omicrons. It's fantastic, right? It adds a completely different dynamic to Territory Wars with his Omicron, and outside of Territory Wars, he's one of the best characters for Jabba because he dispels tenacity up, which allows you, he dispels tenacity, or he dispels buffs, which allows you to land those thermal detonators on all of the Jedi Master Kenobi characters. So Embo just, again, goes from zero to hero, and the harsh take here is that, like, everybody's going to tell you, oh, the Embo Omicron is great. No. With Jabba, the Embo Omicron is great. Without Jabba, I think it's a throwaway. I don't think you have better investments to make elsewhere. And, there's not a lot more to say there. Like, he is a Lord Vader requirement. So if you did go invest in your Embo, you got Jabba, you go get Embo, and then, you'll have a character done for that Lord Vader farm eventually. But I could see a lot of people kind of passing on him because, again, he's not required. You can move on to something else, but in that Jabba team, he is so worth it. Just so worth it. I really think that, that zero to hero is 100% how I felt when I started using it. When I got my Jabba, started placing Embo in there. It's unbelievable to watch how good he gets. All right, next we've got just Cad Bane and Second Sister are here. Their ships are amazing in their respective fleets. Cad Bane inside of that Executor fleet is your linchpin, right? He's everything. Second Sister, her ship inside of those Empire fleets is just extraordinary. You throw the TIE Advanced in the team and you're reducing your cooldowns. There's so much I could say. The problem is outside of those two things, they are requirements, right? You need them for Grand Inquisitor. Cad Bane you need for Jedi Master Kenobi. Other than that, I'd never use them, right? Second Sister is the first one that gets kicked to the curb in an Inquisitor team. And It's brutal, right? It is brutal. It's 100% brutal. And I kind of have, you kind of have to laugh a little bit because I want to throw more relics at Second Sister because of her ship, right? I threw additional relic level on Cad Bane because of his ship, but I never will use their characters really outside of that. And again, just these one-use wonders. I mean, again, their uses are great, right? Like, I don't want to discount that. Their uses are fantastic. But outside of that, there's no real use for these characters. Now, again, I'm going to pause here and just say something. So you guys got to bear with me when I say some of these things. That I'm not telling you to not relic these characters. Because when you get that first Galactic Legend, I've said this before too, like you get your first GL. Every single one of those characters is one of your best characters, regardless, even if it's Director Krennic for Sith Eternal. He's a relic character, so if you only have the relic requirements for Sith Eternal, those are all your first relics, Director Krennic is one of your best characters because he's still relicked. It's just as you progress through the game, they lose value, and that's the way that these two are. So 100% just, they're just not that great outside of their ships. All right, Bo-Katan Kryze is next. And without Mandalorians, she is just, there's not much use for her. So that's because her unique ability, at the start of battle, Mandalorian allies gain 20% max protection for each Mandalorian ally until she's defeated. Whenever a Mandalorian ally attacks out of turn, Mandalorian allies recover 8% health and protection. Basically, if you're not using Mandalorians, kick her to the curb. The Scoundrel tag, she almost doesn't deserve the Scoundrel tag because there's nothing in her kit that really helps Scoundrels. It's all about Mandalorians, right? It's what it is. It's all about Mandalorians. It has nothing to do with Scoundrels, right? She's just, without them, I think, what was it? Arnold used to call her Boca Trash. I mean, she just, if you don't have the Mandalorians, she's really, she just kind of sits there and does nothing in your roster. I really wish I'd never equipped her Leadership Zeta because I don't ever use it anymore, but I was wishful thinking back in the day. That was a mistake. Honorable mentions here. Before we get to them, we got to talk about our King Wampa. You guys know he had to be in here somewhere. We are less than 100 subscribers away from Wampa hitting Relic 8 on a live stream. So all you guys need to do, get this channel to 5,000 subscribers. Keep smashing that button. Leave likes and leave comments, guys. We are so close. It is extraordinary. I cannot thank you all enough for the love and support this channel gets, right? Love from the bottom of my heart right here. You all are amazing. And remember, Wampa is king. All right, back onto the list for our honorable mentions. And why are these characters here? These are great characters. Everybody's saying, oh, they're fantastic. Let's dive a little bit. Maul, you need Mandalorians or you need Lord Vader. Outside of that, there's not a lot of uses for Maul in the game. Not that he, you couldn't find some way to use him, right? But you need Mandalorians or you need Lord Vader. And that's fine, right? Because when you get him, all of a sudden he's amazing in those two things. But I know a lot of players will be, as you get through Proving Grounds, you're going to get Maul, and you might not have those teams built. So there's nothing to do because you can't really use him. Ben Solo is even worse because his kit is entirely reliant on Galactic Legends Rey, right? I mean, that's where his Omicrons are, right? But any version of Rey, right? Keep going in here at the start of battle, light side, any version of Rey. You keep going up, and more, any version of Rey. Look, the one is even like, if Galactic Legends Rey is in the Allied Leader slot, he basically wants Galactic Legends Rey. And that's just, outside of that, he's okay. But, he really just, he doesn't have synergy really with anything else other than GL Rey. And that's unfortunate. Commander Tano, this is a harsh shout because I love Commander Tano, but she does have a lot of tags. And I will say that, like Galactic Republic, Scoundrel, Online Force User. You can use her with Rey. You can use her with Scoundrels, right? And the Scoundrels, I mean, you're not really going to use her with Scoundrels. But you could use her with a Padme lead or Jedi Master Kenobi lead. So there are ways. However, here comes the but. But if you don't have those things, it's not worth it to try and get her and shoehorn her in somewhere. I think Commander Tano is going to cause a lot of people problems that they're going to get her and think they need to, throw gear on her right away. But if you don't have that Padme team, and I'm going to say if you don't have that Padme team and you don't have relics, I would not be trying to focus on Commander Tano. because the Padme team needs the relics on them first to really take advantage of Commander Tano's kit. That you almost would get the Commander Tano, in my mind, would be your last relic on that team, because you really in the Padme team, what you're looking for is her unique, right? Like that's the thing. You're just looking for this unique ability, right? The relics are nice on her, but in the Padme team, you're there for the unique, right? Give that extra health, make it hard to beat that team. I think a lot of people are going to try and relic her like as soon as they get her and not realize that you do need to have those teams built. Not that those teams are hard to get per se, but I would not be just investing in these conquest characters unless you have their teams geared up and ready to go. Or you're like me and it's Rise of the Empire territory battles. But that's a whole nother conversation. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. As always, we got to smash that subscribe button, leave those likes, leave those comments, and stay tuned for our free-to-play farming guide update that will be coming out soon. I'm still making a few tweaks here and there. And then I will also be doing an updated relic farming guide with the Crate Dragon raid now here, with some of the other changes we've gone through. I really think we need to talk about how to farm those relics and get them better, get more of them, and how to be efficient there. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all those things coming on the channel. As always, I love all you. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.